All right, guys, we are back in my garage for another video, and you probably have seen the posts already, but the big news, as you can tell from the title, is both Femto and Autotuner are bringing their DME unlock solutions to the United States. And they're not just having people do the unlocks for them, they are actually opening up offices and creating satellite campuses to help support the North American market. So this is a really big deal, a big change that I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for. And so in this video, I want to share all of the details that we know so you can kind of have a little bit more info in case this is the route you want to go down, which pretty much all of you want to go down this route. So let's go ahead and talk about it, and hopefully you guys find this video useful. Also, before we jump into this shameless plug, new merch is available. Check out my merch link in the video description to see all the designs that we just released. So the first option we'll talk about is Femto, since they are the main ones that came out with the DME Unlock solution first, but they are based in Finland. Originally, they were in Russia, then they moved to Finland, and the entire time their unlock solution has only been available if you ship your DME to their location. So imagine everybody's surprise when they woke up on January 31st and saw this post saying that they were planning on opening up a North American office in the US. Now, there is also a link for a website, but if you go to the website, you can see it's basically just a landing page that says it's coming soon. So not a whole lot of information there, but it is still pretty exciting to see that at least the framework is set up for this to become a reality. Now, again, just keeping everybody up to speed, they are currently offering full bench unlocks, which means that once you get a bench unlock one time, you should not need another bench unlock, even if you get an update from the dealer. It will work with any software. It will work with all the advanced capabilities. So all the MHD Plus stuff, all the boot mode custom ROM stuff, everything should work after you get that initial bench unlock. So as we've seen, the floodgates have been opening the past couple months, and this is just the next step in iteration towards us getting the full OBD unlock that we all really want. So this is exciting, again, because now you're going to be able to ship your DME somewhere in the United States, but they haven't specified where. If you look in their comments, people are making recommendations pretty much all over the board. One person recommended California just because of the size of the car community over there, but they said absolutely not. They don't want to deal with the potential legal implications of whatever you'd have to deal with starting up a business there. But people made other great recommendations: Florida, Texas, New York, New Jersey, bunch of different places that have a really big scene of BMW owners that want to tune their cars, and also hopefully have, laws and, things that make it easier to have a business like that. Now, I saw some people tease that in their stories. They said it's a city that starts with an A. So I'm not sure. I didn't see that post, but maybe that gives a little more insight on where exactly they might be opening up shop. But time will tell. For now, they're working on getting all of that set up and I guess dotting their T's and crossing their I's so that they can have it fully ready to go when they announce it. They didn't give an ETA, so they said in the meantime, just kind of continue shipping your DMEs to them if you're still going through the Femto unlock process. But I'm sure once it gets close enough to where it would make a difference, they'll make an announcement on their social media. So follow them, follow the website, and that'll be the latest and greatest information when it's available. But if you don't feel like waiting, Autotuner is much farther along. So again, this is another European company. They are actually in Luxembourg, and they also have a DME unlock solution. They also came out pretty crazy at the end of last year with a bunch of different options and continuing to, evolve the strategy for how you were able to unlock your DME. And now they are also opening up an office in the United States. So this is their post. It has much more information than the one that was provided by Femto. And they actually sound like this is already in progress because they even gave us a location. It's going to be in Auburn, Alabama. Now, I assumed this might be at APR. And for anybody that's in the Volkswagen, Audi tuning, you know what APR is, and they are in Opelika, which is right around the corner from Auburn. So it seemed like a perfect choice for them to go with. And if you're wondering how I know Opelika and Auburn so well, it's because I went to the greatest HBCU in the United States, Tuskegee University, and it's only about 45 minutes away. So I spent a lot of time in that area when I was in school. But all that aside, it pretty much made sense to me to go with probably the biggest German tuner in the United States, give them the capability to license out the Autotuner tool or whatever to unlock DMEs, and that would allow them to get going around here. But then when I looked a little deeper, I noticed that it actually is its own standalone thing. They're calling it AutotunerUSA, and again, it has its own website, it has its own social media channels, and I actually went on their website and was scrolling through, and in their blog post, it showed that their CEO wrote about why they created AutotunerUSA. And if you have a sharp eye, you see that is Aaron. Yes, APR Aaron. So no, it is not going to be at APR, but Aaron left APR last year, and this is a part of his new venture to establish AutotunerUSA and get that going. So he's going to be the CEO of AutotunerUSA moving forward. And for anybody that missed seeing him on VW Vortex or the Golf Mark 6, Mark 7 forums, you'll be able to enjoy Aaron in the future. So that's what we kind of have going on. Again, it's the same person that used to work at APR, but it is not an APR collaboration. They are setting up their own brick and mortar site. They're going to have their own warehouse. And I think I just saw that they actually started taking DMEs today. So they are taking DMEs so that you can mail those in to their Auburn location and get it unlocked for, it looks like, $3.99. So really cheap, should be relatively fast, especially if you're already in the Southeast. If you're in Atlanta, they're literally like an hour and a half drive away. So you at some point could probably go there, get it done in person, and drive back home with your DME unlocked. So let's wrap this up with some final thoughts. First of all, yes, Keys is still doing their DME unlock. So if you are in the New Jersey area, you can still do the same day turnaround to get your DME unlocked and just go to their site. Yes, it is still much more expensive, so we'll see if this competition shakes anything up, but those are basically going to be the three options. Once Femto gets their stuff up and running, you'll have Keys, Femto, and Autotuner. Now, all of them only work for Gen 2 B58 and S58 vehicles, basically cars after the June 2020 cutoff. So if you have a car after that date, and it is a Gen 2 B58 or S58, then this applies to you. If you have a Gen 3 B58 or an S68, or basically any of the newer engines that just recently came out over the past couple years, then your DME is still locked and this will not work for you. So again, just make sure you know what you have in your car before trying to go and purchase this. I know it's going to be much easier and seem much quicker, but you don't want to pay for a solution that doesn't actually work for your vehicle. Also, somebody mentioned in another post that the Gen 1 B58s after the June 2020 cutoff aren't currently being supported. The reason for that is because you have a June 2020 DME, but you can get any Gen 1 DME and put that in your car and it will work just like normal. So you don't need a Femto unlock. The best option for you would be to clone your DME to one from a Gen 1 B58, any other M240i, 340i, etc. Put that in your car, and then you can OBD unlock and flash just like everybody else. So if you have like a late model 440i or M240i, some of those cars were built all the way into 2021, but you have a Gen 1 B58, that's going to be the solution for you. You don't need a Femto or Autotuner unlock in those cases. So yeah, things are moving quickly, and I know I said I feel like OBD unlocks are right around the corner. I'm still crossing my fingers. I still believe we'll get it in the first half of the year, but this is a great step in that direction, especially for people that are a little more impatient and just want something now. Now is here. You can literally do it. You can ship your DME USPS flat rate, get it there in 2 days and get it back, and you'll be right back on the road much quicker with a cheaper shipping cost and maybe a little bit more peace of mind. So stay tuned. Of course, I'll update you guys if anything else changes in the future, but for now, I think that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below.